You know you got a fat girl in charge of the rationing, right? Classic Negan. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Jamie Hughes Show. My name as always is Jamie Hughes and today it is time for another review of The Walking Dead Season 7. This was episode 4 and it was entitled Service. Before I get started, before I get into this review, as always, it will involve show spoilers, so if you haven't seen this episode yet, do not watch this review, you have been warned. Straight off the bat, pardon the really bad Lucille pun, I really enjoyed this episode. It brought the fear factor back to Negan. It made me feel scared of what he was going to do. As I said last week, I didn't really think that was... He kind of bitched out a little bit where he didn't really punish Daryl for what he'd been doing. But this week that was brought back almost straight away with the whole gun scenario where he threatened to kill... I can't remember the woman's name, but yeah, he threatened to kill the girl that was ahead of the armory because 2 guns were missing. And like the fear that brought among everyone else was brilliant, especially Rick. I just wanted to mention this before I do lose it in my head. I really like the way Rick was dressed in this episode because he was dressed like normal. He kind of blended into the rest of Alexandria's like kind of background characters. That's kind of like obviously how he is like faded now into the background. He is like a jaded man. He is almost human again. Like this is the first time in since like episode 2 maybe pushing episode 3 where we've seen like a human version of Rick, and he's not like this killing machine anymore. He is scared. He is fearful, and it was brilliant to see. Andrew Lincoln and Jeffrey Dean Morgan have got great chemistry on screen together. The scenes they had when it's just the two of them, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, and I really enjoyed this episode. I haven't really got a lot of bad stuff to say about it. I say last week I didn't really enjoy the episode, but this week it was a lot better. What I liked about this week's episode in comparison to last week's episode is that they were both kind of slow episodes, but it was so story driven this week, and it like changed your perception of characters. It moved the story along nicely with it basically in the same scenario. Like it was like one scene extended into 5 minutes, but it worked really well this week, and I really enjoyed it. Obviously we've got things with Daryl. He didn't really speak. Has he had his tongue cut out by Negan? Is that why he didn't really say much in the episode? That's like a kind of theory I was thinking about. Maybe that's why he didn't respond to Rick or anyone when he was called upon to a couple of times. Maybe he had his tongue nicked out. Rosita and Spencer, they look like they're on a bit of a mish together. They look like they're going to go after Negan. Obviously, right at the end of the episode, Rosita knocked on Eugene's door and said, make me a bullet. And yeah, I don't want Rosita to die in the same way Abraham did. I don't want her to go out for vengeance. Yeah, I don't want it to happen because I feel like her death wouldn't be as impactful as Glenn's and Abraham's was. I just feel like, yeah, I just don't see the need for her to die unnecessarily. But yeah, I can't really say much more than that. I thought the stuff with Michonne was good. I thought it was great that when Shane mentioned Rick mentioned Shane, I felt that was really like a nice poignant bit, and it humanized Rick in a way that we've not seen for, well, probably since that scene. That's when he killed Shane. So yeah, and obviously now he's come to terms with the fact that I like the way that was tied in. Like he's come to terms with the fact that Judith is not his kid, and he's come to terms with the fact that Negan is in charge now, and he needs to do everything to protect his clan, his family. One more thing before I go. This is more of a question to you guys as well, is where do you see this series going? Because Rick is so suffocated. Is he going to have a big fight back this season, or are we going to see it for a couple of seasons build, and Rick's going to be at his breaking point, and then he's going to snap and fight Negan? Do we see people dying to make that happen? Obviously, Carl got a bit arsey with one of Negan's guards and pointed the gun at him. So the cracks are showing there already, very early on, that the fact that people don't want to live under Negan's regime, and I think there is going to be a mild uprising, and there may be some more killing and more slaying bitches before they finally get the message, and we have this real dictatorship of Negan. But yeah, that's all I can say really in this episode. Really enjoyed it. Very character driven, very story driven, and it moved it forward a lot. yeah, so what did you guys think of the episode? As always, leave a comment down below what you thought about it. I'm going to wrap up there because I don't really want to drag this episode on too much. I've said what I kind of wanted to say. Really enjoyed the episode, as I said. So that is it for this episode of the Jamie Hughes Show. This is it for this episode of the Walking Dead review. As always, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the very next episode of the Jamie Hughes Show. Drop.